With the 2025 NFL draft just ending and the 2025 NFL season coming up, I would love to take this moment as we go through the quote-unquote dead zone of football season and really discuss everything and go teams that you're interested in and teams that I'm interested in and really break down their offseason moves, draft moves, what I think they're going to do in minicamp, mandatory minicamp, training camp, and what they're going to lead to in preseason all the way up to the regular season. If this does really well in the regular season, I'm going to be doing recap of games. I'm not Shannon. I'm not Ocho. I haven't played the game at the highest level, but I tend to watch every NFL game every Sunday, every Monday, every Thursday, and every Saturday, which is college football. I love football. It's an obsession with me. I can't get over it. I look forward to the NFL draft literally around the day after the Super Bowl or even months prior to the Super Bowl because this is like a love to me. I played football in high school, but it's crazy because I loved the game more when I left in high school than I did then. It's crazy to me, and I really look forward to this. And I'm going to be doing teams and just breaking down everything, man, from the offseason to the trade to the draft. And y'all tell me if I did good, if I mess up on your team, if you have different opinions. That's what this is for. I'm going to start out the series talking about my Dirty Birds, my favorite team since I was a baby. The Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to go over their draft picks, what led them to get to this standpoint, what my expectations are, and just different trades and rumors and everything that you might be hearing and how I feel about it. So let's just do a 2024 recap of the Atlanta Falcons. Going into the season, March 2024, the Atlanta Falcons signed Kirk Cousins to a 4-year deal. You're thinking to yourself, okay, after Matt Ryan left to go to Indianapolis, Julio Jones leaves to go to Tennessee, the Falcons have been in QB crap for years. You're thinking to yourself, you finally got a quarterback, and in 2023, the defense did so well. You're thinking to yourself, with that young core, all you need is one guy to protect the football and get the guy to your young guns, and let's get this ship rolling, and we're going to the playoffs. You're thinking to yourself, going into the 2024 NFL draft, what are the Falcons going to do? You just signed Kirk Cousins to a 4-year deal. You obviously still need pass rush. How are you going to address it? A lot of people were throwing out the name Jared Verse, who ended up going to the LA Rams. A lot of people were throwing out Latu, who ended up going to the Colts, who I really wanted. And you also heard Dallas Turner, who went to the Vikings. So you're thinking to yourself, going in 2024 NFL draft, we're probably going to walk away with one of these 3 edge rushers. And we're probably going to not have big expectations for them, but let's see how this works. When 2024 NFL draft comes around, the Falcons shock the whole world and they go Michael Penix, 8th pick overall. I'm going to be dead honest. I wouldn't say I wasn't a huge fan of the pick, but I quite didn't understand it on draft night. Because you just signed Kirk Cousins to a 4-year deal. Michael Penix is an older prospect who needs to play year 1. I don't think Penix needs to sit. I think he's one of those older guys that need to play year 1 along with Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels. And if you look at Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix and Penix on the last 3 games of the season, you can tell that they should have been playing year 1. I said that they are because they're older prospects. And guys like Caleb Williams and J.J. McCarthy need to sit a year and really understand it since they left college so early. You're talking about quarterbacks with Jaden Daniels, Penix, and Bo Nix. That's like 5 years of college. They stayed there an extra year. They were there for 5 years, 4 years. That's a lot of college experience, and I felt like those older guys needed to play now instead of waiting a few years. And I didn't really understand it because going into the season 2024, you're thinking to yourself, Kirk Cousins, he's going to get us to the playoffs. He's going to be playing the next 3 to 4 years. Penix is going to be sitting there. He's not going to play until he's like 27, 28. I don't really understand it. But then when you hear Terry and Raheem talk about it, once Kirk retires, this is me speaking in 2024, once Kirk retires, who's going to be the guy that's going to lead you into the future? When you signed Kirk Cousins, you were thinking you're going to pick later in the draft. You're not going to have time to pick another quarterback. You're going to have to either give up a bunch of picks or you're going to have to just tank a season. And the Falcons right now aren't thinking about picking in the top 10 pick in 2025. So once that went through my head, I'm like, okay, I now understand why we got Penix. The 2024 season starts. The Falcons start out the season 6-3. I'm thinking to myself, oh yeah, we're sailing to the playoffs. We have an easy way in. Just don't lose your way out. Kirk Cousins implodes. Michael Penix comes in this game. And next thing you know, he just lights it up. And he just looks like a phenomenal quarterback. I absolutely love the pick. Penix, to me, is my guy. That's my, like, I look at Penix like how I view Michael Vick and Matt Ryan now, which is crazy because he only played 3 games. When you look at the arm talent of Michael Penix, it's absolutely absurd. And I'm looking forward to a full season of 2025 with him. Drake London will have a full offseason with him. Darnell Mooney will have a full offseason with him. Kyle Pitts, Ray McLeod, Bijan. So I'm looking to a full offseason and year with the young guys. So in 2025, going into the draft, you know you had your offense set. The defense crapped the bed. You didn't have no edge rushers. Ryan Nielsen in 2023 did a great job of hiding and masking our failures and what we couldn't do as a team. Because in 2023, the Falcons were top 10. You're thinking in 2024, you're going to have a top 10 defense. But it turns out they're at the bottom of the league again. And you can blame Jimmy Lake in the scheme. You bring in Jeff Ulbrich in 2025 to replace Jimmy Lake. So you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, Ulbrich coming from New York to the Jets. Coming from the Jets to the Falcons. How are we going to get better on defense? The defense is the main focal point going into the year. Throughout the whole draft process, you're hearing, well, maybe the Falcons aren't going edge rusher. Maybe they're going tackle. They're looking at maybe replacing Caleb McGarry or replacing Jake Matthews in the long run because Jake Matthews getting up there in years. You're maybe thinking, let's get a tackle that could protect Penix in the long run. Well, that being Caleb McGarry protecting the blind side, you don't know what you want to do. So I was hearing Kelvin Banks a lot. I was hearing Josh Connerly. I was hearing Gray Zabel. I was just hearing different names, Josh Simmons, different names of tackles that we could possibly take. Or I was hearing that the Falcons really love Malachi Starks. I was hearing cornerback 2 if an edge rusher isn't there, like Ben Morrison or Will Johnson or Jahad Barron. It was different names, and you're thinking to yourself as a Falcons fan, 2025 is a year to sell out for an edge rusher. This edge rushing class is deep, and the top 2 edge rushers in the class are Abdul Carter and Jalen Walker. Both of them are being viewed as like a Micah Parsons-esque. A lot of people put Jalen Walker more towards Micah Parsons due to the fact that Abdul Carter made that full transition this year at Penn State to edge rusher. Jalen Walker, he was primarily just an off-the-ball linebacker that came to edge once Michael Williams got hurt. So you're thinking to yourself, once Michael Williams got hurt, he dropped the edge rusher. He's probably going to be a pure edge rusher in the league due to the fact that his off-the-ball linebacker skills aren't like a Fred Warner or like a Luke Kuechly or just like a natural instincts. You're thinking when he gets to the league, he's going to be more of an on-ball defender. So going into the 2025 NFL draft, I'm thinking to myself, okay, we're probably not going to get Jalen Walker or Abdul Carter. I'm going to settle with Michael Williams. I would love Malachi Starks to pair with Jesse Bates. I wouldn't mind Jahad Campbell because he's a LB1 in the class. I wouldn't mind Jahad Barron. Like, I'm just mentally preparing myself for somebody else. Mike Green also. I really love Mike Green coming out from Marshall, who ended up going to Baltimore in the second round. But due to like the allegations I had against him, I was thinking Terry's probably not going to take a chance on him because I know how Terry drafts. He doesn't really go for the people that have quote-unquote character issues. And you can argue that Pierce does, even though Pierce's character issues aren't very a concern like a Mike Green. Like, I'll explain James Pierce's quote-unquote character issues later in the video, but like, you're thinking to yourself, you would maybe go James Pierce, who I would love, best pure edge rusher since he was a freshman in college. What are we going to do? So as I'm watching the draft of my close friends, I'm thinking to myself, okay, Jalen Walker is probably going to be a Carolina Panther. I'm going to have to thug it out. We're going to have to play him twice a year. Just get your chin straps ready. You're going to have to play like a baby Micah Parsons twice a year. Whatever. As the 8th pick comes around, I'm thinking to myself, okay, Carolina Panthers, Jalen Walker going here. There's no way. He's from North Carolina. He's the kid is staying home. And he's going to be the baby Micah Parsons, and we're going to have to deal with that twice a year. But the offense is good enough to where we can overcome it. They shocked me. A lot of people, they didn't shock a lot of people, but to me they did because they needed defense. Their defense wasn't that good, and they just spent the first round pick on Xavier Legette the year prior, and they still had Adam Thielen. I'm thinking to myself, why go receiver again? And 8th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Tetrarolla McMillan, wide receiver out of U of A. I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness. Jalen Walker just passed on... The Panthers just passed on Jalen Walker. There's no way. I promise you, I put this on me, bro. Every single pick leading up to the Falcons, I'm thinking there's no way Jalen Walker falls past this pick. There's no way baby Micah Parsons or Micah Parsons 2.0 falls past this pick. There's nothing wrong with him. No character issues. Locker room guy, leader, Butkus Award winner. There's violent hands, twitchy, off the edge, can play off ball, on ball. Like, I'm thinking to myself, there's no way he's going to fall all the way to 15. So pick 9 comes around New Orleans Saints. I'm thinking, okay, he didn't go to the Panthers, but the Saints aren't going to pass on Jalen Walker. They have Chase Young, who they just signed to, I think, a 3-year deal. They have Cam Jordan. They have Grander. So I'm thinking to myself, yeah, the pass rush is okay, but Jalen Walker would give it that necessary juice to take it to the next level. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, he's going to go to a division, or even though the Panthers are a division rival, but like he's going to go to the top op, as we'd say. He's going to go to the main rival. Okay, he's going to go to the Saints. Okay, let's gear up. Saints fans going to be talking crazy. Let's get ready to go out here and play twice a year. They pass on him and they go Kelvin Banks, offensive tackle out of Texas. So I'm like, wow. Jalen Walker really fell past the 2 division teams that I was worried that he was going to go to most. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, Chicago, the Bears are here. No way Chicago passes on him. Dennis Allen's the defensive coordinator. They just got him from the Saints. I'm thinking to myself, they just beefed up the offensive line. They already got the receivers of Rome Odunze, DJ Moore. You got who they got, Luther Burden in the second round. But I'm thinking to myself, okay, you spent all this time invested on the offense side of the ball with Ben Johnson, who they got from Detroit. There's no way they pass on Jalen Walker. Like, they're going to invest in Jalen Walker right here. Next thing you know, they go Colston Loveland at pick 10. I'm like, oh my gosh. Jalen Walker, Micah Parsons 2.0 fell at the top 10. What are the odds that he's falling to 15? At this point, I'm running around my house. So I'm like, okay, bro. There's a serious chance that we're going to get Jalen Walker here, but I'm not going to get my hopes up because, like, it's pick 10. We're not till pick 15. Pick 11 goes by. Pick 12 goes by. Pick 13 goes by. Miami gets Kenneth Grant out of Michigan. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, once it got to pick 13, I kind of knew that the Dolphins wasn't going to get him because I know they had Jalen Phillips. They just drafted Chop Robinson. They still got Bradley Chubb. So I'm thinking to myself, they're possibly not going to go edge, but just bringing Jalen Walker in the building is good enough anyway to where you're just overseeing that. Pick 12 was San Fran. I was kind of worried. Actually, I was really worried because I knew that San Fran was going to go either offensive line or defensive line. Once it got to pick 12 of San Fran, I didn't mean to backtrack. I'm thinking to myself, okay, they just got Robert Saleh from the Jets. They're going to go defensive front. Jalen Walker, baby Micah Parsons mixed up with Nick Bosa. Oh my gosh. Like, he's about to go to San Fran. I got to play Jalen Walker on primetime this year with Nick Bosa, even though I didn't know it at the time, but like, you know what I'm saying. He's going to San Fran. There's no way he's not going to San Fran. They pick up Mykel Williams. So I'm like, oh my gosh. Jalen Walker is going to be a Falcon, bro. I'm like, bro, he's going to be a Falcon. Pick 14 comes. The Indianapolis Colts are on the clock. I'm thinking, oh my gosh. We're one pick away from Jalen Walker falling right into our laps. They got lied to in the 2024 NFL Draft, so they possibly couldn't go edge again. But you could always pair up Walker with Latu, have 2 young guys come after the quarterback in Indianapolis. Their offense is already set with Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, Josh Downs. They have AR at quarterback. So you're thinking to yourself, okay, they could go corner here. They could go Tyler Warren, or they're going to go Jalen Walker, and it's going to mess up my dreams. During this time, I'm literally doing the Jalen Walker, Conor McGregor walk throughout my house, bro. And I'm like, there's no way Jalen Walker's about to be a Falcon. Once that card got handed in and the Indianapolis Colts drafted Tyler Warren out of Penn State, I was screaming. I went berserk. I already knew. I'm like, bro, they let Micah Parsons 2.0 fall to the Falcons. And I don't mean to put so much pressure on Jalen Walker because calling him Micah Parsons is a lot due to the fact that Micah Parsons is already stamped in the league. He's a top 3, top 5 edge rusher. That's a lot to put on somebody's plate. I'm just going off of how he looked in college. Like, if you was to compare Jalen Walker to somebody in college, the person you'd probably look at is Micah Parsons. So I'm not saying he's going to be Mike. I'm not saying he's going to be a top 5 edge rusher. I'm just saying to myself, a player like Micah Parsons-esque or his prototype is going to fall to the Falcons. And it's crazy because during this whole offseason, Micah Parsons hasn't gotten paid yet. And you're thinking to yourself, sell the farm for Micah Parsons. Sell the farm for Trey Hendrickson. Those guys are not free agents, but they're on the board possibly. Send the farm for them and pay them a huge payday so you finally get your edge rusher. So when Jalen Walker finally fell to 15, I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I'm about to do the Conor McGregor walk in my house. And when the pick came in and we drafted Jalen Walker, I just exploded, bro. I was like, oh my gosh, we got our edge rusher. We're about to turn up. And my expectation for Jalen Walker is I just want to see growth. I just want to see juice. I don't expect high sack numbers from rookies. I just want you to be the best player you can be. Just be violent. Just show me that you're out there trying every play. When we had Matthew Judon as the edge rusher last year, you can tell he got lazy at times. He wasn't all the way bought in. And I just want somebody that just brings juice. Jalen Walker brings juice. If he's not going to get to the quarterback, he's going to be violent. And that's what I need. He has twitchy hands. He's just twitchy. He has violent hands. Powerful. I'm thinking to myself, we got somebody that can bring juice to the defensive front. Now, if you have me on Twitter, I always said I wanted a Los Angeles Rams defensive line. If you don't know who the Los Angeles Rams have on the defensive line, they have nothing but rookies and second-year players on that defensive line. Jared Verse, edge rusher. Braden Fisk, rookie D-tackle. Byron Young, and Kobe Turner. All young guys that just wreak havoc. I'm thinking to myself, what is stopping the Falcons from having a Los Angeles Rams defensive line? It doesn't cost that much. You just got to draft it, and you got to invest into the defensive front. They invested in the defensive front last year with Braylon Trice, who ended up tearing his ACL in Miami on the preseason. You drafted Rook O'Rourke out of Clemson and Brandon Dorlus out of Oregon. So you invested in the defensive front last year, but you need somebody to go with them horses. And I'm thinking to myself, Jalen Walker is a perfect guy to put with that defensive front. We draft Jalen Walker. I'm screaming. I'm like, let's go. We got a Micah Parsons 2.0. I don't care what the heck happens with the rest of the draft. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to lock in for the season. As I'm watching the draft, later in the first round, I just see the Atlanta Falcons have traded up. And I'm like, oh my gosh. What the heck are we doing? And the first play that comes to mind was Malachi Starks, because I knew that the Falcons really liked Malachi Starks coming out of Georgia as safety, pairing him up with Jesse Bates. I was like, okay, we're probably going to get Malachi Starks here. Will Johnson was still on the board, so I'm like, oh, Will Johnson with AJ Terrell, Jesse Bates, and Jalen Walker on the defensive front? Let's go. That's a premier DB unit. You know what I'm saying? It turns out we draft James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee, and I went crazy again because you full-on invested into the defensive front. And the Rams are established, but coming out of college, I thought Jalen Walker and James Pierce was better than Kobe Turner and Jared Verse. So I wanted LA Rams defensive line play style or a young unit. And I'm thinking to myself, we finally got our LA Rams defensive unit on the defensive line. I'm screaming, I'm going crazy. Because if you know, James Pierce only fell in the draft because of his character concerns. And it's not because of the player himself. Going into the year, he was looked at as the number one pick in the draft. I'm not lying. His talent is that good. His talent was above Abdul Carter's, above, as a pure edge rusher, he was known as the best pure edge rusher in the class. And his talent speaks for itself. 2-time first team All-SEC, All-American. He's a premier edge rusher, leads nation in sack. He's just that guy. And adding him with Jalen Walker, it brings so much juice to the team. And just to address the character concerns with James Pierce, it's not like nothing going on with the school or nothing going on with him. Excuse my language. He's just an asshole. That's pretty much what he is. Like, he's not like doing nothing illegal where you got to worry about him off the field or something. He got in trouble, I guess, with a suspended license driving with that, but the case got dropped. And I guess he was just being like a jerk to the police. But like, other than that, it's nothing like no rape charges, no sexual, like nothing, like no theft. It's nothing like that. It's something really petty. And I'm not really worried about James Pierce's character. I know, and I don't know him, but like from hearing his interviews and stuff, I can just tell he's ready to put his head down and go to work. His locker roommate is actually AJ Terrell. And him and Jalen Walker being in the same room and in the same building can be really good for each other. Because you have two guys that are premier edge rushers that can get after the quarterback, that can make each other better. And I love the pick, and I think that these two will be great for Atlanta in the future. A lot of people didn't like what we gave up for James Pierce, considering the fact that we gave up a first-round pick next year. But in my eyes, I'm thinking, if James Pierce pans out to be a edge rusher like you think he is, forget that first round pick. All you're doing is just using next year's pick this year. So basically what you're doing is you're suspending next year's pick and just using it in this year's draft. So you're just basically taking away next year, investing in this year. I have no problem with that, especially considering the player that James Pierce is and the player that he's compared to. When you look at the NFL draft and his draft analysis, the player that he's being compared to is Brian Burns. And if he becomes any type of player that Brian Burns is and was in Carolina and is right now for New York, forget that first round pick. That works perfectly fine. If you have a guy that's like a Micah Parsons and a Brian Burns coming off the edge, forget that first round pick. You're about to be cooking with fish grease, especially when you have guys like Jesse Bates and AJ Terrell in the back end that are phenomenal. So I'm thinking to myself, I don't care what happens the rest of the draft. We damn near won. We got our guys. We got juice on the defensive front. Day 2 comes around. I'm thinking to myself, we just had a great day 1. I don't care what we do, bro. We don't have a second round pick because we traded to the Rams. They ended up getting a tight end, Terrence Ferguson out of Oregon. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm cool, bro. Like, I ain't like, whoever we get, dog. Third round, we trade up. I'm like, what? We trade up in the third round? Who we about to get, bro? And we draft Xavier Watts, safety out of Notre Dame. And I'm like, oh my gosh. You're lying, right? Xavier Watts was the best safety in college football this past year. 2-time All-American, 2-time All-Conference player, even though I don't think Notre Dame's in the conference. So excuse that. But like, he's a 2-time first-team unanimous All-American. Led the nation in picks back-to-back years. Had 6 interceptions this year, 7 interceptions last year. Was really the focal point of that Notre Dame defense. Like, he stands out whenever he was on that field. You bring him in, you pair him up with Jesse Bates and AJ Terrell, and you're like, wow, you got an absolute ball hawk. People love Malachi Starks. People love Nick Emanuari. People love Kevin Winslow, I think it's Winslow Jr. from Penn State. Xavier Watts is right there with them. And you could argue that he has the best ball skills out of all of them. You could, besides probably Malachi Starks is right there with him due to Malachi Starks' twitchy body and his ability to get INTs at a difficult angle. But like as a pure ball hawk, Xavier Watts is damn near the best in the class. And he's damn near the best safety in the class. You can rotate any of those 3 or any of those 4. But like you bring him in, you're pairing him up with Jesse Bates. You get 2 absolute ball hawks in that back end, along with AJ Terrell, who's also a great corner. I'm thinking to myself, oh yeah, bro, we're going, like we're locked, like we're focused on the defensive end. You bring in 2 edge rushers, now you bring in a ball hawk. What could get any better in this 2025 NFL draft with the Atlanta Falcons? The 4th round comes around. I'm thinking to myself, okay, we're probably going to go tackle here, receiver, I don't know, whatever the hell we're going to do. Then we draft Billy Bowman, corner/safety out of OU. I'm like, you bring in another ball hawk, bro. If you don't know Billy, Billy just brings juice, dude. Just a natural football player, bro. He made first team All Big 12 2023. And what's crazy is he's second behind Billy Bowman in interceptions. Like, it goes behind Xavier Watson interceptions. So it goes leading the nation in picks. Xavier Watson 1, Billy Bowman 2. Natural ball hawk. I'm like, bro, you brought in another guy that brings juice. Yeah, I already knew when we drafted him he's going to be probably our slot corner due to his size and due to what we like there. And I know that we really liked Billy because we brought him in on a top 30 visit, and that there were reports that we were really, really interested in Billy. So bringing him in to Atlanta with Xavier Watts, Jesse Bates, I'm like, bro, you bring in another guy that brings the boom, that loves to play football, that's just a natural ball hawk. So now I'm thinking to myself, Atlanta, the clear message is get after the quarterback and take the damn ball away. No in between. We're not messing around anymore. There's no more, we're just out there just to show flashes. No, we're taking the ball away. Either we're scoring and going the other way, or we're getting a sack for a huge loss. Point blank period. The Atlanta Falcons absolutely killed the top 4 picks. And then 7th round, we draft Nelson out of Wisconsin, tackle. Probably going to be a swing tackle. We're probably going to develop him over the years. He probably won't play. He's not going to play, obviously, this year unless barring injury. But we bring in Nelson, who's going to be a great player for us. I'm excited for him as well. And then going into the minicamp, I'm thinking to myself, wow, you walk away with not one, but 2 damn near starting great edge rushers, 2 great ball hawking players. What could get any better than this? Then undrafted free agency comes, and we pick up possibly the biggest steal in undrafted free agency, probably history, with Kobe Bryant. Cornerback out of Kansas, 3-team All-Big, first team All-Big 12, just a pure lockdown. 6 foot, 180 pounds, just pure nasty, just a ball player, bro. Just natural, just a guy. You bring him in, and then you bring in the person who got second place in the Biletnikoff, which is a receiver award. You bring in Nick Nash from San Jose State. You bring him in the building, and then you bring in Josh Simon, a tight end from South Carolina. You bring in Malik Verdon, who I really liked out of Iowa State, who's probably going to be our backer, who's going to be like the German Sherwood role in New York. You bring in, I forget the center's name from Oregon State. I think it's something Gray from Oregon State, who is really good. And then you bring in the D tackle from Miami, who's an undrafted free agent, who also is getting really good reps in this upcoming camp. So, like, you bringing in great free agency guys, I mean, from the undrafted free agency, and I'm just thinking to myself, bro, I can't wait for camp. Camp battles are going to be crazy, dude. You know what Kobe Bryant brings. He brings a dog mentality. Undrafted free agent, he's got to climb his way to make the team. Nick Nash got to climb his way to make the team. But I'm just really excited, and then I see all these OTA videos of my guys is good and after going to work. And I'm like, bro, I'm not expecting crazy things. Like, I'm not expecting this team to go from, like, the number 30th in defense to, like, number 1. But, like, I just want to see juice from this team. I just want to see competition from this team. And just show me that y'all are really willing to go out here and really put on for the city, bro. Because Atlanta needs to go to the playoffs. We haven't been to the playoffs in years. And I feel like we're crying for help. Like, what are we going to do to get to the playoffs? And you bring in an offseason where fans are naturally excited. You brought in players that are just guys, that are just go-getters, that are just natural football players, and that's all you really ask for. Terry killed this draft and the free agency, and going into July, which is about to be when camp starts, the top camp battles I'm really looking forward to and preseason is I want to see if Kobe Bryant can naturally climb the ranks of that cornerback room. Our cornerback room isn't crazy absurd. He could work his way in. He has to probably beat out Mike Hughes, Kevin King. Who else am I missing? He's not going to play in the slot. I don't think Kobe Bryant is a slot corner. I think he needs to play on the outside so we're going to get the best out of him. But Seeing him play on the outside, I'm excited to see if he gets the other role outside of AJ. I've heard he's had a really good OTAs and a really good rookie minicamp. He locked stuff down at the East-West Shrine Bowl. I'm excited for Kobe, and hopefully he not only makes the team, but he can maybe see some significant playing snaps this upcoming season. Nick Nash, a lot of people are excited for. The people think that he can be our wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5. I don't know if he plays over Kadero Hodge. I definitely don't see him playing over Ray Ray right away because Penix has a rapport with Ray Ray. Ray Ray had a good season last year at wide receiver 3. He's one of the underrated wide receiver 3s. But I'm excited to see how Nick Nash looks in the preseason and in training camp because he's probably going to be competing with Casey Washington as a wide receiver 5 spot. I don't know if Casey's having a good camp, if he's going to be wide receiver 4 from Illinois. He drafted him last year. But, like, you bring in a Nick Nash, that's a fun camp to look at. That's a fun wide receiver room to look at. You already have Drake London and Darnell Mooney, your top 2 guys. Who's going to be the guys that go along with him? And Nick Nash can bring some serious competition to the room, and I'm excited for him. I'm excited for Josh Simmons because he led the team in receiving yards and touchdowns at South Carolina last season. And I'm excited for the Miami detail. I forgot his name on top of my head, but he's getting significant snaps too. I hear he's running with the ones also. I'm excited. And it's going to be a very fun camp. And it's going to be a very fun season. I'm really looking forward to it. Going into week 1, obviously, Falcons fans are hoping that the rookies are starting week 1. I'm hearing that James Pierce is going to not probably start, but will be in on heavy pass rushing downs due to the fact that our defensive line is young and they're like very violent and like aggressive and hungry. You still have Braylon Trice in the room, who drafted out of Washington, who I mentioned towards ACL last year. You have Zach Harrison, who's really good. You still have TQ Graham on the defensive front. You just signed Fox, who came from the Chargers last year. And you still have David Onyemata, who's been a veteran presence. So, like, and you still have AK, Arnold Ebiketie coming off the edge. You just signed Leonard Floyd. So our edge rushing group and our defensive line as a unit is deeper than it's been in the past few years. They're all very young and hungry. So I'm not really, I wouldn't say expecting James Pierce to start week 1, but he's going to probably see a significant role. Jalen Walker, I expect to be a starter day 1. Because Jalen Walker, just the presence he is, a leader he is, the way that Raheem talks about him, the way that he carries himself, he's already walking around the building like he's a captain, and he's only been in the building for like a month or 2. So I expect Jalen Walker to be a starter week 1. Billy, he's already running with the starters. That's very encouraging to see. If you don't know, go now and look on Twitter or on social media. The video of Jeff Ulbrich literally banging on the door when we drafted Billy Bowman, excited, like, did we get him? Did we get him? Like, are we drafting him? Billy ran with the ones in a viral Falcons video that's going on YouTube or going on Twitter right now. He's with the ones along with James Pierce, even though I just said he probably won't start week 1. Billy, outside of Jalen Walker, probably has the best chance to start week 1 due to the fact that we really wanted him and we really loved him. And our slot position isn't really that deep right now. You have Clark Phillips that probably moved back into the slot, who's out of Utah, third-year player. And you have D. Alford, but I'm assuming since Jeff and since Jeff and Raheem drafted Billy and they didn't draft D or Clark, Billy's probably going to get the nod in. It's going to be a very hard camp. Clark and D. Alford aren't going to make it easy on Billy. D. Alford was our starter last year. He felt like the scheme did him no favors. He's going to be coming for blood. Billy's going to have to compete if he's going to want to start week 1. And I think that's what's good. We need that. We needed that competition in the room. And I'm excited for that cornerback position battle. I'm not saying Billy's going to start week 1. I hope he does, due to the fact that we drafted him. And a lot of Falcons fans want to see that juice on the field week 1. Falcons fans have given up on D. Alford. I haven't. People see that Minnesota Vikings game and that Commanders game as we needed a different corner. I didn't view that as that, because 2 games out of a 15-game season. And D. Alford balled out when given the opportunity. He balled out in 2023, even though I didn't like the fact that he gave up his slot spot to Mike Hughes during the point in that season, and he went to the bench. But 2024, he became the full starter, had some hiccups. But him and Billy and Clark Phillips really battling it out for that Clark spot. For that Clark really battling it out for that slot spot is going to be fun. I'm going to be interested in it all camp. I wish I could go to camp, but I live in the West Coast. I'm not in Atlanta. And I always said if I could, I would always go to a training camp practice over some NFL, like, actual games. That's how much invested I am with my team. Moving to Xavier Watts. I don't know if he starts week 1 due to the fact that we signed Jordan Fuller from the Carolina Panthers. Jordan Fuller came from the Rams with Raheem Morris. He had his best year under Raheem Morris. So Jordan Fuller's not going to make it easy on him. A lot of people want to see Watts and Bates as a week 1 starter. I want to see it. The fans want to see it. But it's a pecking order. And a lot of people think that we're probably going to see Xavier Watts midway through the year, like week 7, week 8, and probably not week 1. But due to how the Falcons are right now and Raheem and Terry feeling like their seats are on fire, if Xavier Watts is balling in camp, I think he's going to start week 1 next to Jesse if he's undeniably the second best safety out there outside of Jesse Bates. Because what really worried a lot of Falcons fans last year was the rookies are balling out, but they're not seeing any playing time due to the pecking order. Like, Penix last year in camp was making no-look passes, but due to the fact that we had Kirk Cousins on a 4-year deal, you knew Penix wasn't going to play year 1. So it's like, you see him making these no-look passes and people raving about Penix's arm. And due to Ruka Warrow and Brandon Dorless not really playing in the year last year due to the pecking order of the vets, due to Grady Jarrett, TQ, David Onyemata, Kadarius Street, due to all of them being ahead of the young guys, we didn't get to see Rook, even though he had an ankle injury and was out for periods of time, and Brandon Dorless just not suiting up. Falcons fans are really worried that we're not going to see the rookies. Raheem Morris said that's not the case. He said that you're going to see the rookies this year, unlike you did last year. So I think we're going to see Watts eventually. I want to see him week 1. The only way Watts gets on the field is if he's undeniably the best player outside of Jesse Bates at safety. It's going to be a long camp. We have preseason. We have camp in July. Who knows? He may win the battle then. I've seen that they moved Kevin King, who was a corner on the Packers and played corner for us last year. I heard they moved him back to safety, giving him reps. I know Jordan Fuller's back there. You have DeMarco Helms coming off of an injury. He hurt his ankle last year against Miami in the preseason. That's what led us to getting Justin Simmons. So DeMarco Helms, Jordan Fuller, Kevin King, Xavier Watts are all going to be battling for that safety spot across from Jesse. A lot of Falcons fans want to see Watts because that ball skills that we've seen in college, if that translates to the NFL, how could you keep that off the field with a Jesse Bates, who has the best ball skills in the league right now? It's going to be fun, and I'm excited, and it's going to be a fun camp. And that's going to be another position battle to look out for. Like I said earlier in the video, Kobe Bryant competing for that cornerback slot, climbing up the depth chart. Will he make the team? That's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun season. The only thing I expect from the Falcons this year is playoffs. Nothing more, nothing less. I wouldn't say I wouldn't care if we went out first round, but like, bro, the Bucs can't win. I'm tired of seeing Tampa Bay represent the division. I feel like we're better than Tampa Bay. I felt like we was better than them last year. We just imploded. Now we got to really put it together. We have Tampa Bay week 1. They're not going to make it easy on us. We swept them last year. They're probably going to come out for blood. They're going to come back better than ever. And we're going to put our 10 straps on, and we're going to have a tough first 6 weeks of the NFL season. The first 6 weeks, 7 weeks of the Falcons season is going to really show how good of a team we really are. I'm hoping that we're better than people anticipate. I know that we're better than people view us as. I think the team as a whole is very, very good, and we finally have the young guns to go do it. All we got to do is just apply ourselves, man. And if we do that, I feel like the sky is the limit. Playoffs could definitely be the limit this year. I don't want the Super Bowl. I don't expect us to go to the NFC Championship like Jaden Daniels did last year. I just want to see us go to the playoffs. And if we go to the playoffs, anything can happen. Rip up game plans, rip up schemes, everything. It's all about who wants it more in the playoffs. And if our young guys get there, I feel like they can show out and put on a showcase. And we have 5 primetime games this year, so the NFL obviously believes in the Falcons to give them 5 primetime games this upcoming season. And this is going to be a fun one, man. And I'm really excited to look out for us and look out for this team and look forward to this team. And I'm going to probably come back later in the offseason and really discuss the Atlanta Falcons and see what's going to happen week 1. Who got cut? Who made the team? Who's going to be the starters week 1? And it's going to be a fun journey, man. But thank you for tuning into the video. Please like and subscribe as 2 times getting out of here. Peace.